Hi, welcome to Malcolm and We, a partner project between We the World and Malcolm Berman of MalcolmPresents.com. We aim to bring inspiring news of what people are doing all over the globe to make the world a better place for all. My name is Yana Larson, and my co host Malcolm wasn't able to be here today. The enormous differences in time zones proved to be challenging, so I'm on my own. Our guest today is Raheen Fatima from Pakistan. At the age of 16, she is honored to be a multi award winning Gen Z peace and climate change activist and an SDGs ambassador. Despite the challenges posed by her brother's illness and her own diabetes, she has succeeded in inspiring 23,000 followers worldwide to take action in the Sustainable Development Goals. Additionally, she is the founder of Passion Fruit Technologies, an all girl IT agency, and she is currently in the process of establishing a empowerment platform. And now she's going to be the campaign leader for children and youth with We the World, which is our partner project with Malcolm and We. Raheen, welcome. Thank you for being here. Where should we start?
Well, I mean, for starters, thank you so much for having me on here. It's a delight to be on, and you know, I wish Malcolm could be here as well. But trust me, I've had so many of these instances where, since I live in Pakistan, and it is so hard to coordinate the time difference, that there's been times where we've had panels, and there's been times where when I was working with We the World, as well as International Children's Month, which is founded by Heidi Little, it was really uh challenging at times, like 4 in the morning, 5 in the morning, that sort of a thing. So
Yeah.
don't know
I,
how I did that, because I was really young. I was like 11 and then 12, 13. And, so I've been with the organization for about 5 years now. Uh,
Yeah, I want to talk about that. I started hearing about this amazing young lady, and how the heck did you two meet?
so how Heidi and I met was basically through Facebook. I had been really active in my own community. I started out as a stand-up comedian, and that got into the fact that I just wanted to explore all the options that I would have for a career at a really young age. And so with that, I started building up a network. I started meeting a lot of people. I had my own podcast. I used to interview people on there, and it was really interesting. And so with all of that happening, Heidi and I became friends on Facebook, and then she reached out to me and was like, "Hey, we do action days for children every single year on June 21st, and we would love for you to be on there." And I was more than happy to be on there, produce my own panel, and I was there at 5 in the morning. It's a great experience. 5 in the morning. And that's essentially how Heidi and I met. And so there was a time where we used to do action days every month. We tried to launch a couple campaigns. We've talked about all sorts of things, been part of very different events. So it's been a very interesting, and I'd say fulfilling roller coaster of about 5 years. And I think about a few months in, that's also when I met Rick and everyone that's at We the World. And the thing and beautiful part of being part of, both of these organizations is it's linked to so many different individuals around the world that are making a difference, whether that be through their own initiatives, whether that is working with a different initiative. Everyone's doing such great work in their own respective areas. But again, peace and support for youth and making this world a better place, making ourselves better individuals that are part of this, our own respective communities, and this global village that we have thanks to the internet. You know, it's so great to be part of people like that, because everyone here is making a difference in their own personal capacity. And I think that is really beautiful. And I'm really blessed that I was able to be part of this since a really young age, because when you're young, things influence you, slightly different than what they do when you're older. And so
Hmm.
as an 11, 12-year old, for me to see all these people doing all this work was like, oh my God. I was like, that with the girl, the stars in her eyes. And I was like, oh my God, this is so cool. And I'm really honored whenever someone new joins our organization, or when someone younger than me is at the organization. So I always feel the need to welcome them, and I'm like, oh my god, a new person's been added to um, this great initiative.
Well, I remember it's hard to think back to when I was your age because it's been a while, but I can remember I was one of those passionate people too. And I remember just being very overwhelmed by the problems in the world. And I didn't feel like I had any way to really make a difference. But fast forward a few decades, and then I find myself in my golden years. I guess that's what I call them, my silver years. But it's nice to be an older person and still feel like I can contribute something too. And thanks to the beauty of modern technology and being able to connect with people all over the world, such as yourself and other people that I have met in my capacity as for managing volunteers. And I too agree with the world is an amazing organization. And what I like about it is I don't have to pick one theme because they can all they tend to overlap. And the way that we are given latitude to bring our own ideals in and see how it can work and how it can be supported and how we can support others. So that is a really wonderful way to be. And I think it gives me hope. And I'm wondering if it too gives you hope as a young person, being as aware as you are about everything that's happening in the world, to hopefully help you feel like you can do something and inspire others too. Do you want to talk about being a youth in these times?
Yeah, I mean, I remember recently when Jonna and I met, and this was for the audience, that, she brought up something similar to this. And I've actually been thinking a lot about it. And it hadn't really struck me, but like being a young person in this time, it comes with its own problems. We have every generation that faced the problem of being the young people that, grew up with different things, with a very different environment, with perhaps different technology, right? I mean, you at your time, I'm sure, had way better technology than generations before you did, and that
Yes,
would have been overwhelming.
that's true.
Now, in today's day and age, we have a lot of old people that, since they grew up with technology, can also use today's technology.
If they
And that
choose.
makes a lot more people that one know what technology is, how to use it, not perhaps how to utilize it, but that just has a lot of people that are on the internet. And I feel like right now, with everything that is happening in the world, you know it by the second, by the minute. There's a lot of struggles because, firstly, you'd hear about it in the news or you read about it in the paper, and you're going to be like, okay, this is an issue. Climate change is an issue. But when you have a lot of reels popping up, when you've got ads popping up, when you've got videos about it, when you've got all sorts of information popping up about it around yourself, then you're bound to feel very helpless because yes, there are startups around the world, there's organizations around the world, there are great individuals and organizations that are helping with this problem, helping finding solutions that can be put into action. Have we gotten somewhere with it? I don't think so, because the damage is being done way faster than solutions are being made and put into action, right? And
Mm.
so when information like this gets to me, or I'd say anyone my age, we're bound to be in a state where we feel helpless, because in many societies, young people, and I don't think this is an issue that just had anything to do with what's happening right now. I think it's an issue that's been going on for ages, and that is that young people don't get a say because we're young and we don't know the world yet. But I feel like it's a new perspective, and organizations like We the World have always valued the perspective. I mean, I've been in meetings, I've been included as an equal, and only then do you say that, okay, if everyone has access to technology and everyone is sad about it and everyone's going to be affected, then everyone should have a say in it, right?
Yeah,
I need to understand that. And it's,
makes sense
you
to
know,
me.
exactly. I don't get how people do not understand it. obviously it depends on mindsets, on how you grew up, where you grew up, your environments, your mentality. And you can blame them. Yeah, I mean, I blame them. But after a certain time, if I say my grandmother is gonna understand something from TikTok, like a thing that I'm telling her about, and she's gonna understand why I feel so passionate about it, probably not, because that was a very different time.
Mm-hmm.
She never went to school, right? She was used to a very different lifestyle. She still does not understand the fact that I can communicate with everyone that fast, and everyone could just call me and their face is gonna pop up and they know what I'm talking about, because they grew up where you had to write letters. So from
Yes.
letters to FaceTiming to now we've got virtual reality FaceTimes, and I mean before we know we're gonna have holograms like sci-fi movies.
Yeah.
So, it is fine if sometimes people don't understand, but I feel people in positions of power need to be such that they understand all perspectives, even those that clash with the perspectives that they have. And it is challenging to be in the position where you feel helpless. But then, thanks to organizations like We the World, the youth is given a voice. There are representatives like myself, where I represent a lot of young people from, if not the world, then Pakistan, specifically young girls from Pakistan. And I always advocate for their rights, because if I had a chance and I have a platform that's been given to me by this organization and by the people that made the decision that, hey, we want to include Raheen as an equal, and we want to listen to what she has to say, and we want to have discussions on multiple topics with her, then I think I owe it to my people. And by my people, I say everyone in the world, because
Right.
when you meet someone, and I think the beautiful thing about connecting is, I mean, when you and I met, right, for the first time, it was just an instant connection of, hey, children might be feeling that way. They might be feeling stressed because of all the things they read on social media. Is that the leading cause of depression? Is that, and then we just connected on it. Although,
Mm-hmm.
if you see, there are not many similarities that would come to a third person's mind the first time they put Jana Larson and Raheen Fatima together. But then when you start talking, you see there's so many different things that we would talk about, and they're similar about us, and we have a similar take on it. And even if you don't, since we're civilized human beings, we would learn how to live with it.
We
So
would listen, wouldn't we? We would listen to each other. So, I have, as I said, I work with people all over the world, and one of the new people that I've been working with lately, he is in Iran. His father was Iran. No, his father was from Bangladesh, and that's where he was born, and his mother was from Iran, and so he left Bangladesh and is now living in Iran. And he wants to get involved with the issue of human rights and talk about the LGBT group. You know what I'm trying to say, LGBTQ group. And he has a friend who is in the embassy who's trans man. He's a very good friend of his, and right away, based on what we know about, or what we think we know about watching the news, is that, oh my gosh, she's going to be in big trouble, all these things are going to happen. And then he says, no, 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 no. It's not going to be that way. And of course, I was relieved, because what we see on the news is quite different. Which leads me to ask you, what is life like in Pakistan for you as a young girl, young woman?
for me personally, I've experienced people asking me all sorts of questions like, "Oh my God, like, are you guys like you're a girl? Are you allowed to leave your house?" Yes, I am. I go out all the time. I am allowed out of my house. That's not how it works. Again, I come from a very different background here in Pakistan. My parents always permitted me to do things like how normally I can go hang out with my friends. I have my own phone. I have my own social media. Is that monitored by my parents? Yes, it is. When I was younger, I always shared it with my dad. Even now, I do, because it's hard for me to manage everything. So he is my manager, and he does handle a lot of my things. But that being said, for me, the life of a young girl in Pakistan is really nice. Is it full of opportunities? I wouldn't say so, because a lot of opportunities that are there for a man wouldn't be there for women, and that's just because of the cultural norms here,
I
right?
would
It's
say it
not
was
that.
similar to my growing up. My father, I mean, we didn't have social media, but of course he monitored, and I wasn't allowed to go out and just do anything, you know? So in that way, it's similar.
Exactly. And so, with everything that happened since when you were my age till now, you'd say a lot of young girls are now allowed to do it, right? They're allowed to go out, allowed to have fun. And that is a change in mindsets. And because, see, you have better examples around yourself, you're going to let your daughter go out. In Pakistan, it is sometimes challenging. I wouldn't say all the time, because there's great women that are doing great work out there. It may be hard for parents to find an example from their own community.
Hmm.
Letting their daughters go out and just do what they want to do at that young of an age, it is difficult for parents. And when I look at it after I hear the news, I wouldn't. I mean, I wouldn't let my daughter out if I heard everything and believed
That's
everything that was in
right.
the news either. So it does make sense from the parents' perspective. But I have had so many dads come up to me and say, "Hey, we want our daughter to be like you. We want her to do this." And I've had young girls come to me. I remember this one girl that she came to me. I was at an event. I was speaking there. She came to me, and she actually came. Her dad was standing back there, and she came to me. She showed me her phone. It was her YouTube channel. She's like, "Hey, I saw your interviews. I really liked them. You were so nice, and I also have my YouTube channel." And that is something that was so incredibly motivating for me and heartwarming for me, because I, as a Pakistani girl that has been really blessed to have understanding parents and have has been given many opportunities, right? I don't say that that is the case for everyone out there, but I'm able to prove myself as a role model, which is going to make lives of girls that may not have the same, understanding parents from the start really easy. So what we need is not for the media to tell, oh my God, Pakistan is an oppressive society. But trust me, it's not. We, the reason that the women may not be traditionally allowed to go out of the house unaccompanied by a male is because of the things that have happened in the past, right? And it's not that they happen in Pakistan, they happen all over Asia, they happen all over the world, right?
It
Essentially,
does.
in any society, there's good people, there's bad people, right? And you've got to
That's
accept
right.
it. You can't just label one society for that. And so there's people like me that I break stereotypes, right? A lot of people say, "Oh, you're the first, Muslim Pakistani that we've met, and is doing all this, and your dad's totally chill with it." And I'm like, "Yeah, he's the one that guided me to do all these things, and has been there for me." When I was up 5 in the morning, trying to like get as much caffeine in me as possible, just hop on a panel discussion, my dad was right next to me. He would be the one that would wake me up. So he's been definitely a pillar of support throughout the journey. So has been my mom and my brothers. I mean, he's 8 years younger, so he's not been that like, oh my God, that he is like my male accompanied person everywhere, but he is definitely my motivation. He definitely is. And
And
he is.
I bet you are
Yes.
his role model too for
Oh, yes, I better be. Because I am his older sister, and I am a very good older sister. So I feel like I should be, even if he says I'm not, which I think he would say I am.
I'm sure he does. So wow. So here you are, this amazing role model. We can all agree on that. Uh, does that feel good to you? I think it must, but I bet there you feel a little bit of pressure then too, to be a role model of so many for around
Yeah.
the world.
Yes, because I see a lot of when you're, in the public eye, um, there's a lot of people that will look at you. There's a lot. I mean, I'm not a celebrity, so it's good that people don't follow me everywhere I go, and they know my Starbucks order, and there's like
Your
bus.
paparazzi, everything.
You know what I mean? Oh my God, I wish the paparazzi thing ever happened to me. It's so cool. I would have the outfits right there in my head. But, for me personally, I know so many people that, with all the organizations that, I'm part of and all the things that I've done, there's so many young people, even my friends, they would come to me for advice when it comes to, oh my God, we really want to do this. What about our careers? We want to start earning. We want to start making a difference. How do we do this? How do we do that? Because I have had some experience with that. I obviously had my parents to guide me, which was a very big help. But after a certain age, it was my mentors that really guided me. Mentors like Rick Ofick, mentors like Heidi Little, a lot of different people that were really there for me that are, I mean, you know, they are truly like, my people. I can talk to them about anything, even if it's like my personal life. And so I would rather focus on being mentor to people than being, a role model, like, oh my God, I'm a celebrity. Like, I want to help people through my work, and which I've seen that, made I've envisioned a very big, very big goals for myself, of how I want to help all the young girls in Pakistan to be financially independent and to empower them. I think I've done a teeny tiny bit in there. So I'm really proud of that. The pressure, yes, it gets there sometime because I've got to manage school, I've got to manage this, I've got to manage my social life, I've also got to give time to my family. So it's a lot of different things to do all at once. But trust me, when you've got moments like little girls coming up to you all inspired, and when you've got amazing people like Chana Larson asking you to be on their podcast, it makes all of the difference. It makes you feel like, oh my God, everything that I have done has led up to this beautiful moment. So yeah.
Oh, wow. That's just so nice to hear. Really is. So let's talk about school. What are your favorite subjects?
So I'm all over the place with my favorite subjects. There's two I'd say I really enjoyed. One is PPE, which is politics, philosophy, economics.
Oh,
It's a
yeah.
subject that I took back in ninth grade. My school's like really really interesting. So it is the Socratic experience, and it basically the way we learn is through having discussions in in a Socratic dialogue way. Having dialogue in the way that
Talk about
Socrates.
big ideas, not just small
Yeah.
talk. Yeah.
And so we usually learn through that. So it has to be PPE and it's got to be biology. I really love
Ah.
biology, which is really unexpected because I never really liked science. I always hated science. But when I got diabetes, my doctor
Ah.
suggested that I learn about my diabetes, that I learn about my disease so that I can help, manage it. Because a lot of people in my family have diabetes. I mean, I'd say
Ah.
almost everyone that comes to my mind is either pre-diabetic or diabetic or something like that's happening with them.
Mm.
So I was the first one that had type 1 diabetes. I was the first one to be insulin dependent so young, and I had to study about it. I wanted to know more about it because most people that have diabetes in my family don't even know what it is. They just know that they can't eat sugar, which is not what it is at all. And so I started
Right.
researching a little bit, and then I was like, hey, to learn more about my body and to be able to treat it well, right? I wanna learn more about it. And my teacher, my guide just suggested that, hey, you should take honors biology because, well, you seem like a good student. And I was like, okay, sure. And I took that and I aced it, obviously. But it was a really nice subject because the more you learn about the human body, about the various ways that it works, you think, oh my God, it is such a beautiful gift to us. Like, when I recently actually saw a simulation of what insulin does in your body. My body doesn't produce insulin. And so I was like, oh my God, it's like a teeny tiny thing in my body and it's not there. And it makes all so much of a difference in my life. And so I think when you study biology, and all my friends that have always say that it makes you feel more grateful, more humble. Like, hey, I've got so many different things. And if every little component of my body is working perfectly, then I should utilize this energy and this blessing that has been bestowed upon me and help those around me. Even if it's doing the smallest thing, even being kind to yourself, even passing a little smile to a stranger. I mean, it's kind of debatable, just smiling at strangers, but just you know doing good to other people. I think it creates a very beautiful, ripple effect and um, makes a big impact.
We have another new volunteer that she joined recently, and she's working on the social media team for Malcolm and We. And she's from India, and she too, well, she developed diabetes later in life as a teenager, but that has become her passion to know more about it and to teach about it. So I'll make sure you two meet. Now, would you want to become a doctor or a researcher, or what do you think you would do with biology?
I just took biology for fun. For me to be a doctor, that's never something that I envisioned. To be a doctor. I mean, it would be dope if I just imagine just like a application that goes out, be like, oh my god, I want to be a doctor because I have diabetes. That would be great. But for me personally, I actually want to work in education law because I feel like
Ah,
education is so important, and I love talking about education, and I have loved every single part of learning, everything about learning since I took
me too.
control
Lifelong learner.
of my own education. And it's really important
Yes.
to take control of your own learning. Unfortunately,
Yes.
traditional learning systems right now, most of the time they don't let you do it that way. And that's why I actually want to go into law because that's going to help me, because everything comes down to the laws that are being created, and that influences the societal norms a lot. And so I want to study law, specifically education law, and maybe one day have my own, sort of a cute school. But I want to keep working on my business and on my organization as well.
Wow, that's fascinating. When I was your age, I couldn't decide what I wanted to be when I grew up, but I had a lot of really strong interests, and I always got good grades. But that doesn't mean that I should be a mathematician just because I always got an A in math. And it wasn't until I was 42 that I decided to go back to school, and it was because it was at a university that offered general studies. So I tell people I have a degree in a bachelor in uncommitted because it allowed me to study all the things that I really liked, like sociology and psychology and linguistics and music and some French and all of those things. And I'm still wanting to learn. And I'm looking at the time, and unfortunately, we have to uh, end our conversation, but I would really love to have you back and see how it's going, being the campaign leader for children and youth, and what ideas you're cooking up and how you're working, and probably still going to be working with Heidi in some way, and our other campaign leaders as we revive that with We the World. We're going to be having an information page that's going to go with our Malcolm and We so that people have a way to get in touch with you. But would you like to say anything just here about how people would get a hold of you or find out more?
Yes. So the best way to get a hold of me is probably on LinkedIn because that's where I would respond the fastest. So you can, if you, whatever it is that you want to say, you can just search me up on LinkedIn. So I'm pretty famous on there. So you can just search my name there.
Oh, well, how exciting. I'm on
So
LinkedIn too.
yeah. So you can just like search up there and I can get back to you as soon as I can. So yeah.
Yeah, well, it's so exciting, and it's a pleasure to be able to talk to you like this. And thank you for being so gracious and telling us about you and what makes you tick. I think you're an amazing person, and I hope you will always believe that and know that you truly are amazing. You're not an imposter. You really are an amazing young woman, a person, a global citizen, a person of the world. Thank you so much.
Thank you
Bye
so
bye.
much for having me. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you, Raheen. Bye bye.
Bye.